have a brand new kaiju entering the Monsterverse today, guys. We check out the Titan Kraken. The video is by Goji Center, and he's gonna explain exactly what this Kraken can really do.
What you see
What's
right
cracking,
here,
Kraken?
ladies and gents, is the reveal
Sorry, I
of a
had to
brand
do it.
new Monsterverse Titan.
Hey, off the rip, I've got to pause and say that thing right there, not only, it looks like a Kraken, but that thing looks absolutely insane. It's not just a Kraken anymore, ladies and gentlemen. That thing is like an evolved sort of Kraken. I don't know, it looks crazy.
Today on Goji Center, we'll delve further into the characteristics
right?
of this new
on
kaiju
Netflix?
revealed in Netflix's Skull Island.
Okay, there you go. If
Studying
you've seen
its
it, by the way,
weapons,
let me know.
Body attributes, intelligence,
Let me know
and
if I
even
should
some
watch
of
it.
its dark characteristics that make it one of the most unique titans in the Monsterverse.
Oh my!
If you love to learn about monsters, dinosaurs,
That thing is
and
crazy.
more, then don't just sit there, man. Hit that
Yeah,
subscribe
don't sit there.
button,
Hit that subscribe
like this
button,
video,
bro.
and get ready to meet the new Monsterverse kaiju,
Let's see the Kraken.
This
I'm excited,
episode will
bro.
be divided into 3 parts. The
Okay.
first, discussing this animal's physical appearance and weapons.
He
Second,
looks
discussing
amazing.
where this animal came from. And lastly, we will talk about the
The
Kraken's
dark truth.
personality. Right now, we'll start
it
with
is a
number
Kraken.
1, corporal attributes.
Okay, what does it got
The
for us?
Kraken, yes, that's what it's now officially called, is a monster of gigantic proportions that dwarfed Kong at the time and
Oh, hold up now. So, yeah, he did say dwarfed Kong. Look at the size comparison here. You obviously can't see their full bodies, but you can pretty much tell that that's about half of Kong out of the water. Who even knows if that's half of the Kraken out of the water? And if it's not even half of the Kraken, that means it's even longer, even bigger. This Kraken,
in terms of mass.
It's a savage.
But how big is it? To find
How
out,
big?
we must first note that this show is officially stated to take place in 1993.
Okay.
That's 2 years before the events of Skull Island, Birth of Kong, where this fella was approximately 200 feet or so in height. So
what does that
around
mean?
this time, Kong was probably 180 to 190
Okay,
feet
yeah,
in
my
height,
boy was
meaning
growing
that
up.
this monster, if compared to Kong, could have been reaching heights of more than 300 feet standing straight in this particular posture.
So he's almost double.
Lengthwise, however, this animal would have been much more massive
Almost.
thanks to its tentacles and tail, measuring anywhere
True,
between
exactly.
600 to 700 feet in length. Measuring this
So
animal's
triple.
length is a bit difficult due to some of the attributes we are about to
you
discuss.
can see it there pretty good.
There are around 4 segments to this animal to focus on. We see here that this animal seems to be a mishmash of several different
Look at the
creatures.
claws, dude. It was like a
cephalopod-like
crab.
titan with crustacean attributes seen in these
my-
massive pincers similar to those of a crab. These have sharp tips
Exactly.
capable of piercing, stabbing, and are strong enough to get a hold of other kaiju such as Kong. We
Ooh,
continue
that's-
on to its 3 distinct
Like
set
scissors.
of tentacles, each with unique abilities. The first set of tentacles
Can we go back and just look at how many tentacles this thing actually even has? I mean, how many does a Kraken normally have? Is it always this many? I mean, I don't want to sit here and count, but I would say like what, at least 8, 9, 10 of those things?
The first
That's
set of
crazy.
tentacles seems to be the longest, even
And I
more
guarantee
so
you it has,
since
like, powers,
seems like
too,
these
right?
have elastic properties, allowing this
Or maybe
animal
not.
to stretch its tentacles to extremely long distances, much further than the length of its overall body.
That's crazy.
This does not end here. These tips, as seen in this clip, have the ability to follow smaller organisms even if the squid's eyes are not locked in on the target.
Wow,
This leads
it
us
doesn't
to
even have to be
believe that
looking
these
at 'em?
particular tentacles are equipped with sensors which seek and
Like
follow sources of
echolocation.
heat or detect movement that takes the form of stress, heartbeats, or vibrations or sound.
Okay.
We're still not done yet.
That's crazy.
These are also venomous and can inflict electric shocks. The
I
energy
told you it had
emitted will
powers.
most likely depend on the target, since we saw that this fellow was struck by these tentacles, but not
He didn't
struck
have
by
to
the
hit him
amount
that
of
hard, by
energy
the way.
that was inflicted on Kong. If this guy was hit by this much energy, this dude would have been burned to a crisp.
Oh, yeah, he'd have been
Therefore,
toasty.
it's safe to assume that this Kraken would actively regulate the amounts of energy released to each target.
That is
since there was really
crazy,
no
bro.
real reason to shock this dude with as much energy as Kong.
There wasn't a reason at all.
The next 2 set of tentacles are similar in that they provide brute strength, extra appendages, except this
It's
set
crazy
here
how
is
the
a
other
bit
tentacles
longer, providing
do
both
different
reach
things.
and brute strength,
Like
while
just
this
different powers.
medium set serves as auxiliary tentacles for close range. These tentacles are also
So he's good from far,
bioluminescent,
he's good from
emitting
close.
patterns of light in the form of small dots,
He's good from
elaborate
everywhere.
patterns on its tentacles which serve to communicate messages to other creatures. Similar to the G-Man with his intimidation display.
Yep, that makes sense.
Moving down to its lower part of the build of this Titan, we
The
see
tail.
that this animal has
That
an
tail is
elongated body
ginormous.
similar to that of a large fish, except the orientation of the tail is horizontal,
How does
similar
Kong
to
even
that
get out of
a
that, by the
whale.
way?
This tail provides
gotta watch this
massive
anime.
amounts of
Is
locomotion
it called an
power to
anime?
the Kraken, allowing it to move and
Technically,
propel
it's
itself
animation.
more efficiently through the deep waters. Moving up, we find that this animal has an elongated head equipped with a sharp-toothed beak.
Looks
This
like an
beak
absolute
can
savage.
bite hard, piercing through layers of fur, fat, and muscle. Teeth and
just bites through it
serrated
all.
edges along the beak allow this to not only slice, but also grip prey. In addition to that, this animal has 4 eyes which glow in the dark, allowing
eyes.
not 2, but a total of 4 overlapping fields of vision over
can see
a
everywhere.
vast area. Which is helpful in the open sea, given that threats can come from almost any
can
direction.
literally look back,
Gills
front,
line the side
side,
of this
side.
animal's head, suggesting that this animal can breathe underwater as well as on the surface. Yeah, this thing stays
That's
on the
OP.
surface of the water for prolonged periods of time, meaning that this animal could also breathe. A similar anatomical
kinda like
adaptation
Godzilla.
is seen in the G-Man himself,
Yeah.
capable of breathing on both land and sea. The result is
Now,
a
Kong,
formidable sea titan
he
that
can't
can
do all that.
challenge an alpha kaiju. But there is more to
300
this animal
feet.
than just tentacles, claws, and beaks. It is now time to figure out where this titan came from.
Yeah, let's see where it came from. That's
In
obviously one of the
episode
most
7,
important
we were
things to know
introduced
here.
to a village of people who were shipwrecked on Skull Island.
Hey, no spoilers,
These
man.
people, along with this girl, were coexisting with
It's okay.
Kong, who they saw
I'm
as
gonna
the
watch it
king
anyways.
of this place. After a bloody encounter with these chameleon-like lizards,
Ugh.
Kong went to wash his wounds at sea. Little did he know that he unwillingly woke up a monster that was dormant outside the shores of
How do
Skull
you wake the
Island.
monster up?
The Kraken. Now, where was this monster during the events of 1973, a whole 20 years earlier? In
Right.
this show, the
Was he
Kraken
just
was
sleeping down
pretty
there?
intolerant of any vessels or aircraft that would fly into Skull Island
I don't
past
blame
its
the Kraken,
watery
man.
territory. So why didn't
I
it
don't blame
bring
him.
these helicopters down 20 years earlier? It's
Right.
possible that during these events, there actually was a Kraken sleeping outside Skull Island this whole time.
Could you
But it
imagine?
took
I'd love
something
to see the
special
Kraken
to wake it up.
in, like, an
The
actual
blood
Monsterverse
of
movie.
another kaiju.
That would be
but this
insane.
doesn't explain where this animal originally came from. In the show, it was already theorized that Skull Island was in fact a biome that erupted from the depths of the Hollow Earth.
So is it from
Everything
Hollow Earth,
vegetation
Skull
to
Island? Which one?
organisms, possibly including the Kraken. We've seen other creatures come up from the Hollow Earth as well, such
I'd
as
love to
skull
see the
crawlers,
Kraken in an
the
actual
murder
movie.
fish mentioned in Godzilla Dominion, Kamazots, etc. So, this animal was probably one of many that rose to the surface during any period of time before
makes sense. It does make
1973. It was when it awoke when it started causing trouble, bringing us to part 3,
The dark truth.
side of this
Oh, no.
kaiju. If you saw the show, chances are that you will have already determined that this monster
Yeah, I
is
haven't
of
seen the show.
malevolent nature.
Malevolent
Monsterverse Titans
nature.
are usually labeled in 2 groups, malevolent or mostly benevolent.
Yeah,
An
mostly.
animal that
Not
will
all-
go ahead
not
and
all the
murder
time.
an entire village, pick on individual humans, go out of its way and spend tons of energy harassing small creatures that aren't
Oh
worth
my-
the caloric intake, and blatantly disrespect another big kaiju is a big indicator that this Kraken was
He just doesn't
indeed
care.
malevolent.
Yeah,
and
100%.
Yes, this thing was the animal that wiped out these people who peacefully coexisted with
Dang!
Kong and the one who
He was
killed
just
his
chilling.
friend. Because Kong is an alpha kaiju, this
great, now I
Kraken
know his
had
friend
reason
dies.
to lure
Great,
Kong
thanks.
into fighting in shallow water. A battleground that was compatible with both kaiju, both the Kraken and Kong.
Yeah, if he goes in
And
the water,
this
though,
thing was
Kong has
ever
no
going
chance.
to become the ruling force in this island, the Kraken had to take out Kong. The Kraken
to.
has been seen to display taunting behavior. What you see here is this Titan's attempt at provoking Kong to come out and fight.
That wouldn't
Kong
provoke me. I'd run the-
refused,
yeah,
knowing
that's what
that
I'd
the
do right
water
there.
was not a favorable place to go out and fight this monster.
run the other
But
way.
perhaps another or the best example of how ruthless this thing was is this. Yeah, it takes a special type of psychotic monster to grab innocent creatures and hurl them in
What'd the whale
extremely
do?
long distances exactly where Kong currently lives. It's possible that
That poor
over time,
whale.
this animal would have picked random creatures of the island, killing
whale
them
had a
one
family,
by one
bro.
in an attempt to get Kong to sally out and fight away from the safety of dry land. Apart from being a complete
Oh
this
my
Kraken
goodness,
also
dude.
likes to fight dirty.
He just tossed
ambushing
him.
Kong without prior notice, throwing him into deep water, and pinning him down to drown.
So he's a jerk.
Admittedly,
He is a
this
jerk.
animal has all the tools necessary to have an
But
almost
he's a savage.
unfair advantage. Fortunately for Kong, Skull Island is filled to the brim with wreckage, allowing him to once again use this to fight off the
So he
Kraken.
could use some weapons.
This
That was
animal
good.
finally met his end at the hands of Kong. But
Well, I
even
know he
so,
dies
the
now.
real
Oh my
scars
gosh.
inflicted on Kong were not flesh wounds,
I just
but
wanted
the
to meet
loss
the
of
Kraken.
loved ones. As we can see, Kraken did not just fight at a physical level, but an emotional level as well, making this animal one of the most fleshed out and complete villains seen so far in the Monsterverse.
He looked like a
Will
savage,
there be
but then
another
I know
Titan that will
he dies.
outdo this animal in
I can't wait
terms
for that
of
movie,
evil
bro.
nature? Let us know in the
It'll
comments.
happen, bro. For now, though, that is the end of this video. I can't wait for the Godzilla X Kong movie. But yeah, anyways, that's the Kraken. I will see you guys tomorrow. Thank you for watching with me. I love y'all. Goodbye.